What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video, and today the video you guys have all been waiting for the past couple weeks now. I'm going to be doing my first 2018 mock draft this season. I've done plenty of other mock drafts in the past seasons, and I've got a couple of them right. For a amateur in really doing mock drafts, I started about 3 years ago. Every year I usually do well. This is my first mock draft, so take this with a grain of salt. I usually do about 3 or 4 every year. I'm not one of those guys that bring out 10 mock drafts because I don't know. Once I set my mind on someone going somewhere, I kind of keep it that way. So switching up my mock drafts every other week just seems a little, it just seems like all these other mock drafts didn't matter. So this is my first mock draft. Take it with a grain of salt. A lot of quarterbacks going in this draft. Just because of free agency didn't start yet, we don't know who's going where. You don't know if Cleveland's going to be going after a free agent. You don't know if Minnesota's going to be going after a free agent. You don't know if Denver's going to be going after a free agent, or the New York Jets, or whatever it is. So yeah, a lot of quarterbacks in this draft. Another thing, my 500 subscriber special, guys, the Q&A. I'm gonna prolong it a little longer. I know I said I was gonna be answering you guys' questions earlier, but I didn't get as much questions as I wanted to. So you guys can go ahead. I'll try to put the link in the video, you could click on it on this video. So you go ahead and subscribe if you're new, first of all, and go ahead and leave a question, any kind of question. It could be football related, it could be anything. Go ahead and leave it in the comment section of that video, not this video, of that video, the 500 subscriber special video, and I'll be answering it in a couple days just to give you guys a little bit more time to ask your questions. Don't worry, everybody that asks questions on that video, I will be answering your questions. Do not worry. So with all that being said, let's get on to the video. So number 1 overall, the first overall pick in the 2018 NFL draft, the Cleveland Browns select Sam Darnold, quarterback out of USC. I know there are a lot of speculations about who's the best quarterback in this draft, who's going to go number 1. A lot of people like Josh Rosen. A lot of people like Josh Allen. A lot of people like Sam Darnold. I think Sam Darnold is the best quarterback in this draft. I know probably going to get a lot of hate for that because everybody loves Josh Rosen and everybody likes Josh Allen for his potential. But I think as of right now, Sam Darnold is probably the most balanced quarterback. I'm not going to say he's the best. I know Josh Rosen has his advantages, and so I'm not going to say who's the better quarterback. I just think Sam Darnold is the most balanced out of all of them, just being that he can get out the pocket, scramble, throw on the run. I know his accuracy isn't great. Neither is Josh Rosen, so let's just leave it at that. Sam Darnold's going number 1 to Cleveland as of right now, quarterback out of USC. The New York Giants, second overall, my team, the New York Giants. I had them selecting Josh Rosen, quarterback out of UCLA. You guys know that I'm not very fond of drafting Josh Rosen or drafting a quarterback in this draft not because of Josh Rosen's talent or ability. I just think that I do not want to get rid of Davis Webb just yet. I don't want to give up on him just yet. I think he can be a great quarterback. Dave Gettleman's throwing some misinformation around. First, sources have said that Dave Gettleman thinks of Davis Webb as an afterthought, that maybe they're thinking about trading him. And then a couple of days ago, they're saying that Dave Gettleman likes Davis Webb and we'll see where he goes with him and stuff like that. So I don't know what they're doing. They're throwing misinformation out there. Jordan Renan talked about misinformation being thrown out there to throw a lot of teams off and even the fans. So who knows where the Giants are going to go here or if they're going to trade down. But as of right now, I have them selecting Josh Rosen, quarterback out of UCLA. The Indianapolis Colts, I have them. I know Frank Gore, the Colts and Frank Gore just cut ties with each other. I believe it happened today or yesterday. And I know they can go Saquon Barkley here, but I think it's in their best interest to go Bradley Chubb here, best pass rusher in this draft. He is the Myles Garrett of last year's draft. He's a Myles Garrett of this year's draft, and he's just a phenomenal pass rusher. You could throw him in a 4-3 defensive end, 3-4 defensive end. I think he'll play great there. And Indianapolis runs a 3-4, so I think he'll fit a need there. The Indianapolis Colts desperately need a dominant pass rusher. They haven't had one in years. So they get their guy here in Bradley Chubb. Moving on to the number 4 overall pick, the Cleveland Browns select again, and they draft their guy Saquon Barkley. Isaiah Crowell is a free agent. They need a running back. They get one here, arguably the best running back to come out in years. So now moving on, the Denver Broncos, I have them selecting Baker Mayfield, quarterback out of Oklahoma. I know they can go Quenton Nelson here. I think Quenton Nelson would be a good pick here if they are confident in getting a quarterback in free agency, like a Kirk Cousins, like a Nick Foles. We'll see what happens there. But as of right now, this is before free agency starts, so I'm just having any quarterback, any team that needs a quarterback, I have them taking one here in this draft. So I have the Denver Broncos selecting Baker Mayfield, number 5 overall. I just want to give Baker Mayfield just some credit because 2 years ago he was supposed to go in the draft. You know, the draft with Carson Wentz, the draft with Dak Prescott and all them, and Jared Goff. He was looked at as being a 4th round prospect, 3rd round prospect, 5th round prospect. And then he worked his way up. In the beginning of this season, beginning of the college season, he was looked at as like a 3rd round, 2nd round pick. And now he worked his way all the way up to the top 5 pick. So congrats to Baker Mayfield on that. But yeah, I have him going to Denver here at number 5. In the 6th overall pick, the New York Jets, I had them selecting Josh Allen. Sorry, a lot of Joshes. So Josh Allen, quarterback out of Wyoming. I know he needs some polishing. Here's the question though, and here's what I'm kind of skeptical of about Josh Allen going to the Jets. Out of all the quarterbacks that they drafted, the Jets being, the Jets who I'm talking about, out of all the quarterbacks that they drafted, they all needed some kind of, development, some work. You look at Taj Boyd a couple years ago. They didn't draft Taj Boyd, I don't believe. Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't know if he went undrafted. Taj Boyd, you got Christian Hackenberg, you got Bryce Petty, and you got all these other quarterbacks that went and that they drafted or picked up, and they all needed work, and they just never hit that mark. When they started games, when they played games, they just didn't look good. They didn't look like they were being developed in the right way. Josh Allen needs a team that's going to develop in the right way because he is not ready to play yet. He's going to need a couple of years. His accuracy is horrendous, but all the talent is there. He has great arm talent, and that's something I want to keep you guys mindful of. I don't care how much arm talent he has. You guys always say that. He has a great arm. He has a phenomenal arm. He can throw the ball wherever he wants to. It depends if he actually throws the ball and it hits where he wants to. Jay Cutler has one of the best arms you'll ever see in the NFL, and why isn't he a great quarterback? I'll leave it at that. Anyway, Josh Allen, I think if he gets polished up by the right team, can be a great quarterback. I don't know if the Jets are that team, but they may pick him up anyway. So Josh Allen, have him going to the Jets. The 7th overall pick, I have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers selecting Marcus Davenport, defensive end out of UTSA. Just a great, phenomenal pass rusher. A little bit under Bradley Chubb, but this guy is a speed rusher, a lot faster than Bradley Chubb in my opinion, and it's very similar to him in a lot of ways as well. But I still like Marcus Davenport. He's one of the guys that I've seen in a lot of mock drafts as him being drafted so high as in at the top 5 to all the way down to the bottom 25. So this guy is just all over the place on mock drafts, and I have him going as high as the 7th overall pick. So let's move on to the Chicago Bears. I have them selecting Calvin Ridley, wide receiver out of Alabama. I know they can go with Roquon Smith here. It might be the better option to go Roquon Smith here just because, Chicago Bears are just infamous for having great middle linebackers. You look at Mike Singletary, you look at Brian Urlacher, and then, Jarrell Freeman I believe he retired, or was he released? Not sure, but he's not with the team anymore. They still have Danny Trevathan, but they run a 3-4. They're going to need another linebacker. Roquan Smith could be that guy, or Tremaine Edmunds, because Tremaine Edmunds to me is not a 4-3 guy. He's a 3-4 middle linebacker if he is thrown at middle linebacker. And I don't like Tremaine Edmunds anyway. I don't think he belongs in the top 5. I actually don't believe he belongs in the first round. But anyways, we'll get to that when we get to that. But I have them selecting Calvin Ridley here. They need a number 1 wide receiver. Calvin Ridley can be an instant improvement for them at the wide receiver position. Moving on, to the San Francisco 49ers. By the way, everything is in the description below so you can follow along. The San Francisco 49ers, I have them selecting Minkah Fitzpatrick, safety out of Alabama. They need some secondary help. Minkah Fitzpatrick fills that for them, and they will be surprised that Minkah went this far down in the draft, so they have to pick him up right now. Anyway, moving on to the Oakland Raiders. They get their guy Roquon Smith. They desperately needed a middle linebacker for a couple years now. They get their guy here in Roquon Smith. Moving on, the Miami Dolphins. I have them selecting Quenton Nelson, guard out of Notre Dame. This guy, to me, I mean, he's probably not going to get out of the top 10. But in this case, in this mock draft, I have Quenton Nelson. After he just posted 35 reps in the NFL Combine, the pre-Combine, whatever they call it, when they're doing bench presses and stuff. He posted 35 or 36 reps on the bench press. So he's turning some heads more and more. He just rose his draft stock. I don't know how much farther you can go for a guard, but he's really rising it. But I still have him going to the Miami Dolphins at number 11. Moving on to the Cincinnati Bengals at number 12, the 12th overall pick. I have them selecting Connor Williams, offensive tackle out of Texas. Cedric Ogbuehi, I believe he's a starting left tackle right now, or I don't know who it is really, but they need themselves a tackle. They need themselves some offensive line help. They get the best offensive tackle, in my opinion, in this draft in Connor Williams. Moving on to the Washington Redskins, I had them selecting Tremaine Edmunds. In this case, I have him being an outside linebacker out of Virginia Tech. This guy will be strictly, to me, a pass rushing linebacker. I think he should stick with that. He's good at edge rushing. To me, he has the speed, has the agility, has the quickness, the sideline to sideline quickness that you want in a pass coverage middle linebacker. I just think he's not that. A lot of people say that he has decent pass coverage. I don't see it whatsoever. I don't think it's good. I don't think his tackling is very good on top of that. I think he needs to get a little stronger. I think he needs to stop getting bullied at the line of scrimmage. But if you get the right guys in there to help Tremaine Edmunds, he could be he's got all the right tools. 6'5", 245, huge linebacker, very fast. So he's got all the tools you got that you need. You just got to train him up. So Tremaine Edmunds, I have him going number 13 to the Washington Redskins. The Green Bay Packers, I have them selecting Denzel Ward, cornerback out of Ohio State. They desperately need a cornerback. They're dealing with guys like Demarius Randall, dealing with guys like Kevin King, who they drafted out of Washington last year. Didn't look like a good pick for them. Granted, they drafted him in the second round, but still, it wasn't looking good. I think he picked it up towards the end of the season, but still, they need some cornerback help right now, and they get their guy in Denzel Ward. The Arizona Cardinals, from one Cardinal team to the other, I have them selecting Lamar Jackson, quarterback out of Louisville. Right now, they don't have a quarterback on their roster, the Arizona Cardinals. I believe Drew Stanton is still under contract, but I don't think Blaine Gabbert's there anymore. And I believe they have somebody else, but come on now. You don't really think Drew Stanton's going to be starting for Arizona, do you? So, I had them selecting Lamar Jackson here out of Louisville. The 16th overall pick out of the Baltimore Ravens selecting Courtland Sutton, who I think just a phenomenal wide receiver in this draft out of SMU. Big wide receiver, I believe 6 foot 220, something like 6'4", 220. Just huge wide receiver, and really reminds me of a wide receiver last year that went top 5 in Corey Davis. Not as fast, not as agile as Davis is, but definitely has a similar skill set in being able to catch the ball, running great routes. Courtland Sutton, for a huge wide receiver that he is, he runs great routes, and he can make you miss after the catch. He gets a lot of rack yardage. He makes a lot of defenders miss. It's surprising to see someone of that height and weight to just be as quick as that on their feet, and really reminds me of Corey Davis. And Baltimore gets himself a number 1 wide receiver next to Jeremy Maclin, and to eventually replace Jeremy Maclin. So we move on to the 17th overall pick, the Los Angeles Chargers. I have them selecting Vita Vea, defensive tackle out of Washington. Very similar to another alumni from Washington in Danny Shelton. So I have Vita Vea going to the Los Angeles Chargers. The Seattle Seahawks, they can go a lot of different areas here. A lot of people have them going running back, which I don't think is necessary, especially in the first round. A lot of people have them going running back, offensive line. That is something that they need. They had, a lot of people have them going safety. I know Earl Thomas and Cam Chancellor are rumored to be traded in this offseason, at least one of them. So a lot of people are selecting Derwin James for them. But I have the Seattle Seahawks selecting Josh Jackson, cornerback out of Iowa. The cornerback spot has been a need for them for a while now. Richard Sherman's been that only guy to hold it down there. But they need somebody opposite Richard Sherman, and they get their guy in Josh Jackson here, a big wide receiver, 6'1", I believe, 220, somewhere around that range, or 215 or something like that. So they get their guy here. He does need a little bit of work. He's a little bit raw, but he's definitely good at breaking up passes and getting picks. So I got Josh Jackson going to the Seattle Seahawks. The Dallas Cowboys, I have them selecting Daron Payne, defensive tackle out of Alabama. Great defensive tackle as far as rushing the passer and stopping the run. Very strong, very agile. So good pick here for Dallas. The Detroit Lions, I have them selecting Arden Key, defensive end out of LSU. They need somebody opposite of Ezekiel Ansah. I believe Ezekiel Ansah was franchise tagged this year. You guys could correct me if I'm wrong. I believe he was franchise tagged. So, just in case Ezekiel Ansah does leave in the coming years, you got Arden Key there, so you guys won't be completely lost as far as your pass rush goes. And you guys desperately need a pass rusher. That and a linebacker. I know you just got Jarrad Davis last year. You guys could still need another linebacker. But anyway, moving on to the Buffalo Bills, one of their 2 consecutive picks. I have Orlando Brown from Oklahoma going to the Buffalo Bills. They definitely need a tackle. Cordy Glenn is not set at left tackle, so you can have some competition there. Loser goes to right tackle, or however you want to do it. So, I have Orlando Brown going to the Buffalo Bills. The Buffalo Bills with their 2nd consecutive pick, the 22nd overall pick. I have them selecting Maurice Hurst, defensive tackle out of Michigan. They need defensive tackle help, being that, Kyle Williams is getting older. Marcel Darius was traded to the Jacksonville Jaguars, so they need somebody in that interior defensive line. They get their guy there. The Los Angeles Rams, I have them selecting Billy Price, offensive guard / center from Ohio State. The Rams need help at the guard position and center position, so he can do both. So you're blessed in that, you can have him go anywhere else. I think Rob Havenstein is a free agent this year, so you guys can plug him in at center and see where you go from there. But the Rams do need offensive lineman help. Also, you guys can probably go after a tackle in this draft, being that you got Andrew Whitworth there, yes, but he is getting older. He's not going to be there for many more years, so you guys should start thinking about getting your franchise left tackle for the future to help Jared Goff in his career. Moving on. The Carolina Panthers, after they just released Kirk Coleman, who was their ball hawk safety for them, and on top of that, you got Mike Adams, who's not going to be there for much longer. He's an older safety, and you don't really have anybody else in that safety position. I have the Carolina Panthers selecting Derwin James, safety out of FSU. Now we move on to the Tennessee Titans. A lot of people have this player going there just because there aren't much edge players that are worth going in the first round anymore for the Tennessee Titans. They're in a bad spot pretty much. They could go cornerback here. I would like to see them go cornerback here. They do need some help in that, but they also need help as far as pass rushers go, linebacker help. So I have them selecting Harold Landry outside linebacker out of Boston College. I don't think he's the best talent. I think he's a 2nd round pick for sure. He might creep up into the 1st round. A lot of people have going in the 1st round. I do in this case. I don't think he's the best talent, but I think he'll develop just fine at Tennessee. So I have Harold Landry going to the Tennessee Titans. The Atlanta Falcons, I have them selecting Isaiah Wynn, offensive guard out of Georgia. So he remains in his hometown state. New Orleans Saints, I have them getting Rashaan Evans, inside linebacker out of Alabama. This guy is a great talent at inside linebacker, and the Saints would be very happy to land Rashaan Evans. They need linebacker help. They have a lot of linebackers on their roster, but none of them that really pop out the screen for you. They got Haloa Kikaha, Manti Te'o, AJ Klein. I mean, just these normal guys out there. No one really special. So I have Rashad Evans hopefully making a difference there in that linebacking core. At number 28, this may be a little bit interesting for you guys, being that, Ryan Shazier did get injured, and I've seen a lot of people replace Ryan Shazier with Rashaan Evans, but unfortunately he gets picked here. So Pittsburgh should be looking at what they should do. They could go Mike Hughes here. They could go Carlton Davis at cornerback. It could go Dante Jackson, who I don't think is a first-round talent, but a lot of people have him as a first-round talent. And they could go all these other positions on the defense. But I think right now, a quarterback that is mostly similar to Ben Roethlisberger in this draft. You guys probably guessed it right now. Mason Rudolph. I think potentially he could start this year, next year. I think he does need work, of course. But I think this would be a great pick for Pittsburgh. With a quarterback so similar to Ben Roethlisberger, I feel like Mason Rudolph would be able to learn more from Ben Roethlisberger. And eventually when Big Ben leaves, whether that's next year or in the coming years, whether that's 2 years from now or whatever, Mason Rudolph will be ready to fill in that role. Josh Dobbs, to me, is not the answer for Pittsburgh. So you move on with Mason Rudolph and see where you go there. The Jacksonville Jaguars, I have them selecting Equanimus. I don't know how to pronounce his name, guys. Forgive me. You guys let me know. I don't know. St. Brown, okay, out of Notre Dame. That's all I gotta say. Equanius, right? Equanius. I don't know. Equanius St. Brown, wide receiver out of Notre Dame. I know he's not the best first-round talent, but as you guys know, in the late first round, you do see second rounders start to creep up. Just because teams do not want to trade back up into the second round to get their guy, you may have to risk a lot of picks there, and so they don't mind the little stretch of a reach, so they'll reach a little bit for their guy. Equanius St. Brown will go to Jacksonville Jaguars, sort of similar to what you've seen with the New York Giants getting tight end Evan Ingram. He was a second round talent, a lot of people believed, so they got their guy in the late first round. So moving on, we got the Minnesota Vikings. I have them grabbing Mike McGlinchey here, offensive tackle out of Notre Dame. There are rumors. I know they paid a lot of money to Mike Remmers and a lot of money to Riley Reif, but there are rumors after Mike Remmers started a couple games or a few games at right guard, I believe, that he will stay at right guard and be a guard, filling in for Joe Berger. I believe Joe Berger is a free agent or he left the team. I don't know. He's an older guy. He's an older offensive lineman. So Mike Remmers will go to right guard, and they need a right tackle. And then you could possibly see, Riley Reif did play left tackle in Detroit, but then Taylor Decker took that spot. Riley Reif went to right tackle. You may see the same thing happening if Mike McGlinchey is drafted by the Minnesota Vikings to help that offensive line for whoever quarterback comes and joins the Minnesota Vikings. So Mike McGlinchey goes to Minnesota. The New England Patriots, I have them selecting Carlton Davis, cornerback out of Auburn. Now, Carlton Davis is, to me, like I said, it's another reach there, but I think the New England Patriots are just gonna, they're gonna grab whoever they feel they could, train up and become a great player. They don't have to be the best player right off the gate. They want to develop them themselves, and Carlton Davis, to me, is that guy. I don't think he's the best cornerback in this draft, but he does have the strength, he does have the size, he does have decent speed. So I just think that it will be a good fit for the New England Patriots to just develop that player and just make him better. So they could go Mike Hughes here, but I feel like they'll want to develop another player in Carlton Davis. And then I got the Philadelphia Eagles. I have them selecting Mike Hughes, cornerback out of UCF. Let me tell you right now, Mike Hughes is my favorite cornerback out of this draft. Probably one of my favorite players. This guy is so underrated. I turned on his film. I honestly think that he could compete as the best cornerback in this draft. This guy could possibly go in the top 15 in my opinion. But I just think he's underrated. Not much heads are turned towards Mike Hughes. We'll see what happens in the combine, but you just turn on this guy's film. He's great. Great man-to-man corner. I mean, just the takeoff speed he has right off the line of scrimmage. He's able to stick with receivers. He's a great tackler. He's not the biggest cornerback you've ever seen, guys. I believe he's 5'10 or something like that, and like 185. He's a smaller guy, or 195. He's a smaller guy, and he still lays the boom. He's very active in the run game. He's very good pass defender. He's very good man-to-man corner, which is what you like to see in the NFL nowadays. The NFL runs a lot of man now. I've seen that a lot in the past couple years in the NFL. So Mike Hughes is a great man-to-man corner. He'll do great in zone. He does great. He knows when to get off a receiver, when to get onto a new one. Great prospect. I'm hoping that he goes earlier in this draft. I know the Philadelphia Eagles could go with other players like a linebacker, like an offensive lineman. I just don't think there are any offensive linemen or linebackers that are worth it for the Philadelphia Eagles. I know Malik Jefferson is in the conversation, but I hear that he's not the best in coverage, that he's just a run-stuffing guy, and on top of that, he's not even that strong in the first place. So I don't think he'll be the right fit for Philadelphia, being that they do run the 4-3. So these linebackers really need to know how to stop the run. So there's that. So I think Mike Hughes is a good fit there. So let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. That's my full mock draft. Gonna hopefully get this out tonight, and hopefully see what you guys think about it, and let me know what you think I got right, what you think I got wrong. Who do you think will, where do you guys think all these players will go up at? And if you guys really want to, you guys could leave your whole mock draft in the description below, and if I like it, I'll pin it. So go ahead and do that. And also, like I said, my gaming channel, Royal HD Gaming, link is in the description. Go ahead and go to my 500 subscriber video, and remember to like this video, give this video a thumbs up. So the goal here is 40 likes, guys. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below, and I'll see you guys in the next video.